If you've been playing fantasy football over the past few years, you've probably heard the same advice. Don't take running backs early, load up on wide receivers, just find your RB2 in the middle rounds. And I get why that strategy became popular. Running backs get hurt, wide receivers' careers last longer. And for a while, running back waiting on running back actually worked. But I think we've reached the point to where the pendulum has swung way too far in that direction. Because if you actually look at the numbers, running backs that you're trying to find later are a lot less reliable than the ones early. Over the last 5 years, running backs drafted in round two have busted less than 30% of the time. And by the time you get to round four, that number jumps up to over 40%. And by round five, 57% of running backs drafted in round five have a bust rate. And when we talk about bust rate, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about players that score 25% or less of their expected total points projected going into the season. So when someone tells me I'll just grab my running back around 5 or 6, my question is, why would I intentionally wait until the position becomes less reliable to start filling out my roster? And there's another number that really caught my attention. Over the last 2 seasons, around 45% of running backs drafted in round two have finished as a top 6 running back. That means nearly half of the running backs in round two are going to give you an elite fantasy season. Meanwhile, once you hit that middle round RB range, the odds of finding that kind of player falls off a cliff. And I think that's the part most people misunderstand about the RB dead zone. To me, the RB dead zone isn't an argument to avoid running back. It's an argument to draft your running backs before you make it there. That's why my favorite build this year is running back. Locking up 2 running backs with legit league winning upside, and then spending the middle of your rounds hammering wide receiver, where I think it's a much deeper usable player pool. But obviously, a draft strategy can sound great in theory, but completely fall apart once you actually use it. So instead of just talking about it, I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. We're going to jump into a mock draft where I'm starting running back, and I'm going to walk you through every pick, my thoughts, how to do it, and how to build the rest of the roster without sacrificing anything else. So let's draft. All right, guys, so let's hop into this mock draft. I just got to run through an auto draft real quick just so I can show you my strategy. So drafting at the 12th spot. Love hammering. This works for 10 spot too. Love hammering running back. Running back, again, options available usually are James Cook, A-Chain, Saquon, Genty, Hampton, Chase Brown. So I'm hammering Chase Brown no matter what here. I'm a huge Chase Brown believer this year. I think he is an excellent running back. I think as long as Joe Burrow stays healthy, then he's going to have a top 5 to 7 season. Last year in PPR, he caught 69 passes. That's elite. So he's a bell cow to me. Love him. Now, I used to click Genty here, but with the ankle injury, I'm probably out on Genty. So I will click Saquon. Again, guys, this isn't telling you exactly who to pick, though. This is just showing you the roster construction. You can pick who you want to pick. So you could have picked any of those 6 running backs right there, and the strategy is the same. So you don't have to exactly listen to me. But this is why I like this strategy, because of opportunity costs. Because we're getting our 2 running backs early, we're not having to spend one of those mid-round picks on like the Tutons and the Prices and Ramondre, stuff like that, to where we feel obligated to get these guys to start as our RB2. Because we already had them, now it's given us the opportunity and the flexibility to draft literally any other position. So now we're up again. As you can see, Neighbors and Devontae Smith both almost fell to us. That would have been really great. But I like our options here too. Ted Ladd, Ibuka, Flowers, Wilson, Waddle, Adams. Like, these guys are freaking good, man. A lot of these guys have potential to be top 12 receivers this year. So again, I'm not projecting them to be top 12, but if any of these guys finish top 12, I'm not going to be surprised. I mean, Zay Flowers was literally a wide receiver 7 last year. That's crazy. So I think this is purely 100% possible. So let's start with Ibuka, Wilson, 2 receivers that I think easily could be top 12 guys, assuming they're healthy this year. So if you look at it, we have 2 swings at top 5 running backs, as you can see by the stats. 45% of our 2 running backs end up top 6. So we have 2 swings at that. And then we have 2 upside guys that, I mean, honestly, safely are probably around wide receiver 15. But honestly, if either one of them dip into the wide receiver 10 range, I'm not surprised there. And so now that brings us up to our next turn picks, our next 2 picks. And this is where I love it. because you're so flexible here. With 2 running backs and 2 receivers, you could literally draft whatever position you wanted and you're fine. As you can see, the running backs here, you got Tootin, Price, Warren, Chuba, RJ Harvey. Like all of that is just barfing in my mouth right now. If we had went running back, receiver, 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 or if we had a quarterback or a tight end in here, and I'm having to pick from one of these guys to be my RB2, I am disgusted right now. So I'm super happy that we already have ours. And look at these receivers. Roma Dunze, Carnell Tate, Watson, Marv, Parker Washington. All of these guys are elite, in my opinion, for the price that you're paying. I love the price for these guys. Um, Again, I'm not saying these are top 10 guys anymore. These are not. But I like the upside for the price that you're paying. And look at tight ends. If you want to go tight end, because now this roster construction is 2 running back, 2 receiver, and 1 flex. So you can go tight end if you wanted to here. You could go quarterback if you wanted to here. I wouldn't suggest it, but let's go tight end and see how it works. So let's go Tucker Craft. So you can see we have pretty much our entire starting lineup filled out now. We have 2 running backs, 3 receivers, and our tight end. Now all we need is quarterback and depth. And so that's what's so amazing is now the way our roster is constructed is 2 running backs, 3 receivers, tight end. We can go literally whatever you want. And look at these quarterback values, man. Josh Allen 2.8, Amar 3.8, Drake May 4.7. And why would you ever take those guys when you could take Caleb Williams, Dak, or Herbert in the 8th or 7th? You could take, Jackson Dart or guys in that range in the 8th or 9th. Like, to me, it just makes no sense to go early quarterback this year. You better pray that you're getting a difference maker, or else you're kind of just wasting a pick, in my opinion. But again, this is where you could start to look at another running back. You don't have to feel pressured here, but just based on the lineup that we're roster construction that we have with only the 1 flex. If you have 2 flexes here, I'm still hammering receiver and not feeling bad about it. But here, I wouldn't mind hitting a Ramondre or a J.K. Dobbins just to get a RB3 with guaranteed workload, Tony Pollard even, and then pairing him with one of these higher upside receivers like Michael Wilson. Godwin, I think, provides a good floor. Makai Lemon, he's back on the practice field. Good to see him catch that well-route touchdown. Guys like that. So I like pairing them with like an upside guy like Michael Wilson and then either Ramondre, J.K. Dobbins, Brooks, Corum, someone like that gives you that RB3 that's pretty good, but you got to skip all of the bus rounds. Like if you look from the 312 to where we're drafting right here at the 712, we've got to skip out on guys like David Montgomery, who knows what he turns out to be. Cam Scatterbo with Najee Harris, who knows? Travion Henderson's definitely not guaranteed a workload here. Quinton Judkins on the Browns. I like Judkins, but he's still risky here, guys. Tootin, out on him. Jadarian Price, out on him. Tony Pollard in the 6th, Jalen Warren early 7th, Chuba 7th, RJ Harvey 7th. Like, if these were guys that you're drafting because you need a RB2, that is disgusting. Like, look at team 3 right here. All they have is Derrick Henry and Tony Pollard. I would be appalled if that was my team. So that's why going early running back just gives you so much flexibility, man. So right here, 9-10 turn. Now we could start looking at quarterbacks. Might as well. Love Purdy here. He was the QB, I think, 3 in points per game last year, averaging 20.8 points. Hopefully he can come back healthy this year. Again, I don't think you're going to see a run like this normally in quarterback with Daniel's owner also getting dark. And then also the Lamar Jackson owner also getting T-Law. Again, this was just a mock draft. Can't really control these guys. But honestly, your QB options could be even better in your real draft than it is here. And Purdy's still fine. So again, pair Purdy with another upside player. You could go and set a tight end. You could go a 5th receiver if you want depth there. You can go another running back if you want depth there. That's what's so good about this strategy is it's so flexible. You can literally do whatever you want. So I'm pretty sure I go a receiver here because I like the upside for receivers. And I don't feel obligated to take running back. So usually, again, this is not me telling you who to draft. This is just me telling you how I like to structure my thing. And I never go into a draft saying, okay, I'm going to for sure take 2 running backs and then 2 receivers and then whatever. You can't do that because every draft is different. You have to stay fluid. You have to stay water. You have to be moldable and be able to flex to whatever the draft is doing. So you can't just say, okay, no matter what running back here, I'm going to go running back. Well, what if your league went crazy and drafted 8 running backs in the first round and now you're taking like Derrick Henry and, Kyron Williams? Like, don't do that, obviously. So you got to be smart about it. So this is just detailing how I would draft, upside guys, last two picks, Mike Washington, John Coleman, high quality handcuff backup running backs that if the starter were to go down, you have an immediate starter there. Um, so again, guys, this is just my favorite draft strategy. Running back. I think it is the best personally. Feel free to give it a whirl. If you want a mock draft, then send it to me in the comments. Do whatever. If you have any kind of questions, do whatever. If you want to see the 8 guys that I'm drafting in every single league, go ahead and check out that video. It's right here, and I will see you over there.